What is up, everybody? My name is James, and I'm here again with a game from GameShed called Dead Frontier Outbreak. If you haven't already seen the first part, I would suggest you do so, considering that we are picking up from there. So let's continue.
We eventually found a few different options for vehicles in which we could make our escape. On the far side of the parking area, we found a pair of road motorbikes. Closer to us was a four-wheel drive all-terrain Jeep, a large freight truck, and a convertible sports car.
Let's see. If we take the motorbikes, we can weave in and out through traffic a bit easier. Jeep can, I don't know. I know they go off-road. That could be helpful. A freight truck can just blow through quite a bit of stuff. Sports car is really fast. Let's go with the Jeep.
I suggested that we take the Jeep, and the others quickly agreed. Having the ability to go off-road if necessary would be incredibly useful, especially since many roads would have been blocked with traffic, accidents, or zombies. We approached the Jeep and peered inside. To our dismay, we saw a pair of infected inside, desperately clawing at the windows in an attempt to escape.
I think we should try another vehicle. I really don't want to try and risk getting bit here.
I made my suggestion, but the others didn't listen. They really wanted that Jeep, and a few zombies weren't going to stand in their way. The others immediately flung open the doors and started trying to drag the zombies out. However, without my help, they were having serious trouble, and it seemed like they would most likely end up dead if I didn't intervene.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the best of ideas to try and help them, because, you know, I'm just one guy, and I'm not going to be able to do much. So I think I'm going to have to leave them. Let's take the freight train. No, let's take the sports car.
I headed towards the sports car and didn't look back. I climbed aboard my chosen vehicle and sped away from the car park onto the main street. By then the roads were littered with bodies and car wreckages. It was all I could do to avoid them. Everywhere I looked, I could see only scenes of carnage. It seemed that those not already infected were fighting a losing battle. My thoughts quickly turned to my wife. I tried to tell myself that she would be okay, but that didn't stop the horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I knew I had to get home as soon as possible. In the distance, I could see a gas station with a few of the zombies on the forecourt. I quickly glanced down at the fuel gauge and saw that I only had about half a tank remaining.
Now, yeah, I'm just one guy. I don't have a weapon, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to face these zombies. And half a tank should get me pretty close, if not all the way there. So I think I'm just gonna continue.
I decided not to stop for gas or supplies due to the potential danger. Half a gas tank was more than enough to get home anyway. I continued down the road before turning onto the main highway out of town. However, it wasn't long before I noticed a mass of vehicles blocking the road ahead. The combined sound of all the honking, shouting, and screaming was deafening. Nobody had kept to their lanes, and cars were packed so closely together that not even a bicycle could squeeze through. The blockage extended so far down the road that it was literally impossible to discern what the cause was.
No, I'm not just gonna wait. That doesn't seem like a good idea. The horde could easily come through and kill us. A sports car really isn't good for off-road. I wish I had the Jeep. Let's turn around.
I decided that there was no point in waiting for the traffic to clear, and that without the Jeep, driving off the road was just too dangerous. I headed back the way I came and turned off the highway at the first exit. I soon found a safer, albeit less direct route home.
I should have gotten some gas.
As I sped down the disturbingly quiet back road, my mind Without the distraction of imminent danger, I began to remember the horrific scenes I had witnessed just an hour ago. Images of mangled corpses flashed before my eyes, and my head began to spin. I swerved onto the wrong side of the road, just as another vehicle pulled out from a concealed entrance. I braked sharply, but it was too late to avoid a collision. Amazingly, I wasn't seriously injured, but my ride was badly damaged.
I think I'm gonna carry on foot, because I doubt I can repair this. I don't want to steal it, but I mean, if he is okay, I really can't have another person with me who's injured, so...
I realized that without transport, I would have to walk the rest of the way home. Not wanting to waste any more precious time, I continued my journey on foot. After a half an hour of walking, I began to recognize my surroundings and knew that I would soon be home. There were several different routes I could take.
Let's not continue on the main road. You know what? Just for the heck of it, let's go through the woods.
I decided to get off the road and take a shortcut. I headed into the woods, realizing that the mindless infected would have a hard time navigating the undergrowth, and that there would be very few of them in the area anyway.
Yes, that's true.
I finally arrived in my neighborhood, exhausted. I knew that my house was just a little further down the street, but the area was swarming with the infected. Most of them seemed distracted by what few survivors remained, but I knew it was only a matter of time before they noticed me. I remembered about a small alleyway nearby, one that would take me most of the way home in relative safety. I entered the alley, and as expected, it seemed totally devoid of life. However, as I walked past a large dumpster, an infected old man stepped out of the shadows and tried to grab me.
He's old. Just probably... Let's grab him by the neck. Push him away.
I grabbed him by the neck, realizing that he'd be unable to bite me. I pushed him away as hard as I could, and he stumbled backward.
Cool.
I had bought myself valuable time, but it wouldn't take long for the creature to regain its balance and come at me again. I turned to run back the way I had came, only to see that another group of them had followed and were now blocking my retreat. My only hope was to try and get past the lone infected.
I'll try to run past him. Let's hit him in the face.
Grabbing a brick,
The brick.
I waited just long enough for the infected to get close before smashing it into his face. There was a sickening crack as his jawbone fractured and blood sprayed from his mouth. My former neighbor fell to the ground, and before he could get back up, I was able to run past. I sped down the alley and back onto the street. When I looked over my shoulder, there was no sign of my pursuers. I could see my house now, just 100 feet or so away. My heart sank when I saw yet another group of infected wandering aimlessly between me and my goal.
Let's go through the rear gardens. Wasn't too much of a problem going through the alleyway. I think this will be a good idea.
I decided that it was too dangerous to carry on down the street. I went around the back of one of the neighbors' houses and climbed over the fence into their garden. It was tiring, but I carried on scrambling over the fences until I got to my own backyard. As I approached the house, I noticed the glass in the back door had been smashed and the door left slightly ajar. I was terrified for my wife's safety.
Go straight indoors. Yeah, let's find a weapon first.
I realized that whoever had broken into the house could still be in there. Without a weapon, I wouldn't be able to help my wife. I headed over to the shed and checked my pockets. Luckily, I still had my keys and was able to remove the padlock and open the door. Inside, there was a wide range of tools to choose from.
Chainsaw, sledgehammer, crowbar, hand axe. Let's do the crowbar, because crowbar is like the ultimate zombie weapon of all time.
I took the crowbar, knowing that it would be easy to swing indoors, yet still heavy enough to cave in a human skull.
Nice.
With my weapon in hand, I left the shed and walked back to my house. Before I could enter, I discovered why the back door had been left ajar. A teenage looter emerged from the house carrying my television, obviously intent on profiting from the crisis.
My TV!
When he saw me, he dropped the TV and pulled out a large kitchen knife.
Drop the
At that
TV.
moment, I couldn't tell which one of us was more afraid.
It's probably my kitchen knife too. Let's let him go. I don't see a point in killing him.
I told the looter that I wasn't going to hurt him, and that he could take the TV and go. He didn't bother to pick it back up. Instead, he ran over to the nearby fence and climbed over into the neighbor's garden. Having dealt with the looter, I walked in through the back door. I was relieved to finally be safely indoors, but I couldn't rest yet. Not until I was certain my wife was okay.
So we just go and
I had
search.
wasted enough time already. Wasn't about to waste any more. I immediately started looking for my wife. I began searching the ground floor for my wife. As I came into the living room, I saw that John from next door was standing there.
John from next door.
He had his back to me and was clearly oblivious to my presence.
2 middle names.
His shirt was covered in red stains.
He's probably dead, so well, I'll make him more dead.
John was surely infected, so I snuck up behind him and hit him as hard as I could on the back of the head. His skull made a satisfying crack and he fell to the floor, dead. I had never liked him much anyway. As I went to go upstairs, I noticed a note had been left for me by the front door. I recognized my wife's handwriting immediately. The note said that she couldn't wait for me any longer and that she was going to pack her bags and take the car to her parents' house in the countryside. As I read the note, my heart sank. I prayed that she would be able to make it to her parents in one piece, but knowing how hard it had been for me to get here, I couldn't help but wonder if she was still alive. When I realized I may never see her again, I began to feel tears rolling down my cheek.
Oh. I think we could find a couple of other stuff. Probably get some keys to a car, food. If she's already gone, then, I mean, we might as well try and survive ourselves.
I pulled myself together and resolved to keep searching. I needed to make sure the house was secure before planning my next move.
I'm going to keep going through this because I only have a couple of minutes left, so you can pause it if you want to read it. I'm just going to read it real fast so I can get this done within this episode.
I kicked the door open and charged in with my weapon raised, ready to kill.
Hit it right in the face.
Wasting no. I was fine.
Cut him off.
I knew I had to do something and do it quickly. My wife and I spent some time.
Alright, so that was Dead Frontier. I think I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna play the second one because it's been pretty interesting so far. It's pretty good. I'm glad I survived. Next, survived the day, saved your wife. Yes, yes. And A+. What? Zombie expert right here. Right here. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, give that like button a hug with your mouse, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.